Guys, don't forget to hit the like, follow, subscribe, leave me a comment, and we are talking The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13. I'm going to recap the whole entire season up to date, and tomorrow night is the season finale. The season finale is going to be Kyle Richards' SoFi Stadium event, Go Big or Go Home white party. Everybody's dressed in white, and it looks like the big bombshell finale is going to be everybody discovering that Kyle and Mauricio are getting separated. Now, as far as the separation goes, Kyle has says that, they are not officially divorced yet, even though they are separated. But of course, it's probably very complicated because when you are someone who has a lot of assets, divorce is usually something that you want to avoid if you're still able to do your own thing and not have to have it finalized on paper in a courtroom. Then that is the preferred method if you have that sort of assets. They don't really seem to be heading to court anytime soon. It does not seem to be a volatile separation. The season started off with Erika going to a therapist to say, how does she learn to have empathy? I mean, I don't know what Erika's doing. I don't know if her new PR person is just like, look, you're coming off as a cold bitch. You need to do something about it. Even if you can't feel it, fake it, go on TV and have some sessions with your therapist and whatever else. She did fire her longtime publicist that was apparently the same publicist as Nikki Hilton. I don't even know if Nikki Hilton kept him. I think she might have fired him as well. And then she hired a new publicist. She actually seemed to be really doing well. Dorit really did not have anything going on this season. We saw her and PK. Supposedly they are separated now. PK's living in a hotel. I don't know what's going on with those two. I kind of feel like eventually everybody on these housewives shows, they get into marital discord. Season started off with them having Eagle Woman doing some kind of kumbaya thing. That's another one that has been going around all the franchises, is that there's always this resolution between the group of women where they gather somewhere out in a desert, out in a spa, out in the woods, out in a I don't even know what, in a hotel lobby, who knows, where everybody just talk their shit out, and there's always some mediator who is all spiritual, all connected to the woods and the heavens and the rocks and the trees and whatever else. So this is what happened on Beverly Hills. Now, Garcelle was still feeling a certain way towards Erika and Dorit because of her sons and what happened. They seemed to be able to work it through, and then everybody took a mini vacay to Las Vegas for Crystal's 40th birthday. Kyle flew everybody on a private jet to Las Vegas. Miss Sutton, you purposely wore pants. They even caught you on camera saying, I wore fucking pants for nothing, when everybody else was getting their leg humped except for you. So I really do feel that that was what she was upset about, even though she said it wasn't about the pants. Kyle Richards said, was it about the pants? And, it was a back and forth of not about the pants, and Kyle Richards saying it was about the pants. I'm going to agree with Kyle. It was about the damn pants. Kyle and Sutton, they get into their little tippet with whatever. I don't even know what the fuck they're fighting about. Basically, Sutton says that she hasn't been a good friend to her, and the Kyle is saying, well, you haven't been a good friend to me. They go back and forth with each other. Sutton has said something like, you don't talk to any of your sisters, or none of your sisters likes you, or some shit like that. Kyle says something like, Sutton, she thinks of herself as Kathy's friend. Basically, what she was saying is that Sutton gets bullied by Kathy. I do believe that Kathy is used to having a lot of power, and that she has that power to ice somebody out of high society in Beverly Hills over there. And Erika says something very interesting on her confessional. She says something like, Sutton, she wants to be invited to parties. She wants to be invited to these events. And in this town, Kathy Hilton has the power to ice you out. And she says, but I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if I don't get invited to a Christmas party. So, that is one of the reasons why I do like Erika. I know she's a very hard person to like because she comes off on TV as a cold bitch, but I don't really get invested in any of these housewives like that because, look, at the end of the day, none of them knows who the fuck I am. I can be a fan of a lot of people, but I don't stand anyone and I don't hate anyone because they are not for me like that. I don't go out of my way to hate on anyone or be a stan of anyone. So I don't have that kind of energy towards Erika Girardi. I know a lot of people feel a certain way about her because of Tom Girardi, and then it really did not help her when she was telling people on international TV that she doesn't give a shit about the victims, that she doesn't give a shit about anybody but herself, and that, she's basically fighting so hard for these $750,000 diamond earrings. She just needs a better PR person. Her PR person needs to coach her better. Like I said, there wasn't anything going with Dorit and PK. And so I felt like this season, she really could not pull off another invasion, bank heist, whatever the fuck it was that she was doing. I know, as somebody who has PTSD, I know everybody deals with PTSD differently, but some of her so-called reactions were not in sync with somebody who has PTSD. A lot of these housewives, they put it on for the cameras and they actually think of themselves as actresses, and they're not, but they think of themselves as actresses. There was also this kind of like cringe moment where PK and Dorit kind of recreated Pretty Woman, and they had Berlin, the actual Berlin, there singing too. But it was really funny because Julia Roberts was on an episode of Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and Julia Roberts actually said something that a lot of people were thinking, which is, it was cute and everything, but on your wedding anniversary, why would you give your wife jewelry that she can't keep? Like instead of doing all of that, wouldn't it have been better to actually buy her a necklace that she would have been able to keep? I mean, I feel the same way. Julia Roberts hit it on the nail. I mean, what he spent on the hotel, the dinner, having Berlin singing for them, I mean, all of that money could have actually gone to like buying an actual necklace for your wife. But nothing was going on with Sutton. She has a horse named Santos, and that's about it. Her ex-husband, Christian, he got a job based out of London, so he's moving out to London. And I mean, other than Sutton's horse, I don't know what else is going on with her. In one of their back and forths, Kyle alluded to Sutton being an alcoholic and that she carries grape juice in her bag. I mean, I don't know why she's carrying grape juice. Maybe she likes to put it in with her Grey Goose vodka. Who knows? Sutton also, in her story arc for this season, she's also back on the dating scene. I'm happy for Sutton because like Sutton started off this season saying she never gets past a second date. Okay. She's probably not getting past our second date if she's talking about her damn horse Santos. Garcelle's sons, there's a lot of scenes with her sons and her twins, her twin boys. So one of the twins wants to go live with his father. That makes Garcelle feel a certain way. And the other son has a girlfriend named Ashlyn, and he seems to like spend all of his time with Ashlyn. Kyle decided to go on a sobriety journey alone, I guess, because Mauricio is still drinking. And, there was like this awkward interaction with the two of them at Portia's 15th birthday party. The mother was there, and the mother is like a sex therapist or something. And then Kyle has tattoos, and they were talking about the tattoos. And then Kyle tells the mother that Mauricio has a tattoo and, whatever. So then we also are introduced to, Morgan Wade. I don't know if Kyle is hoping to manage her. Maybe Kyle Richards is hoping she's discovering the next Shania Twain or something. I don't fucking know. Whatever it is going on there is going on. Do I think Kyle's a lesbian? No, I don't think she's a lesbian, but I do think that a lot of it is a little bit of a midlife crisis, and her midlife crisis, I feel like, was exasperated because of the death of her best friend, her lifelong best friend that she's known since she was in second grade, since she was 7 years old, 8 years old. And this was a friendship that she had for like over 40 years. Her friend Lorraine, she took her life away. And I think that had a lot to do with Kyle deciding to be sober and really reevaluating her friendship, her lifestyle, her life, her relationship with Mauricio. In one of the episodes, she even has a celebration of life event for Lorraine. And in that event, Morgan Wade performs one of her songs. I didn't actually think she was that good. I mean, we only heard like a little snippet of it. So Morgan Wade is getting some free publicity. She was on a couple of scenes and then she got to sing one of her songs. Anne-Marie did not show her face until episode 6. Episode 6 was when Kyle Richards had her weed party, and it was also the return of Denise Richards. So actually, Denise Richards made a cameo appearance with Cynthia Bailey at Garcelle's Lifetime movie screening event, but there wasn't really any interaction or anything. There was more interaction at Kyle's weed dinner. Denise Richards, she was like fucked up. Her and Erika get into it. There was actually this really funny scene where they're both sipping a cup of tea and they're just like sipping it back and forth. And it's, shady producers and their editing department. And it was just a really comical, hilarious scene. Erika about that whole, Tom Girardi thing, the $20 million. And Erika goes after Denise about, her OnlyFans account and then her daughter Sammy having an OnlyFans account and who makes more money, her or Sammy or whatever. Anne-Marie, she is a nurse, and there was this whole thing with her and Crystal where Crystal said she presented herself as an anesthesiologist when she was really just a nurse anesthesiologist, and this whole thing where she says that she has never said that she was a doctor, she always presented herself as a nurse. And then there was this whole thing that was off scene, off camera, so off the show, where it was like this whole thing on Instagram where like the governing board of actual anesthesiologists was calling her out and all this other stuff, because there is 2 other housewives on 2 other franchises that are actually anesthesiologists. Dr. Tiffany Moon out there in Dallas, even though Dallas is canceled, and Dr. Nicole Martin out there in Miami. So both doctors, both anesthesiologists called out Anne-Marie about, her going after Sutton and Sutton's esophagus. And like legit, guys, there was like 5 episodes about freaking Sutton's damn esophagus. I don't even know why Anne-Marie cared that much. Anyway, they decide to all take a cash trip to Barcelona and Spain because of Merce, who is in a Ziploc bag. So Merce is this renowned dancer, I guess. I mean, I'm not into dance, so I have no idea who the hell he was, but he is supposed to be this renowned dancer out in New York City. He passed away, and when he passed away, Sutton got his ashes, and Sutton decides to go to Spain to spread his ashes on a seaside cliff somewhere. So they go to Barcelona, where she also has friends there. They go shopping, they go out to eat, they have these events, and Anne-Marie brings up something about Crystal and how Crystal talks shit about all the other ladies. Do I believe it? Yeah, I believe it. I definitely do believe that Crystal talks shit about the other ladies, and I do believe that, she thinks of herself as, better than the other ladies. Here's the thing though. Do I think that Crystal said it to Anne-Marie? No. That is where Anne-Marie was lying. Here's what I think happened. I think what happened is Anne-Marie watched the show, like a lot of people do. Crystal saying that stuff about all the cast, and so she basically was just repeating what Crystal said. But here's the thing, Crystal said those stuff in her confessional, and we know this because, hello, those shady Bravo editing department, they roll all of the footages in Crystal's confessionals where she's saying all those things that Anne-Marie's accusing her of. Crystal, she had hypertension, high blood pressure, and she was feeling like queasy and faint and lightheaded in the Sprinter van, and they had to pull over. And then I don't know what Anne-Marie actually did for her. They made it seem like Anne-Marie did something miraculous when all that was shown on our TV screen, at least, was Anne-Marie telling Crystal to lie down. I mean, if that is like enough for everybody to do like a 180 and be like, thank God for Anne-Marie, you were there. I mean, I guess I could be a nurse anesthesiologist too. Look, guys, I know a lot of these episodes, they get edited out a lot, so I'm not saying that Anne-Marie didn't do more, but what I am saying is that what was shown on our TV screen was that she did nothing except for like tell Crystal to lie down and then like shout out what her blood pressure was. So Crystal and Anne-Marie make up after that. They go to this little chapel. Kyle and Sutton have like this heartfelt moment where Sutton shares with Kyle about her father's suicide, and Kyle shares with Sutton more about Lorraine's passing. And Kyle has like survivor skills, and Sutton says to Kyle, you could always wonder why or whatever, but you're never going to know. And they had this bonding moment with each other. They go out the next day to some seaside cliff to like, put Merce's ashes out into the ocean. And they all are supposed to let go of something that they're holding behind to like make themselves a better person, I guess. Everybody goes to say what they're letting go of. Erika's still on her whole schnick about, being hurt by her castmates because of accusations with Tom and all this other bullshit. Anyway, Sutton, she lets go of her divorce, she lets go of Merce, and she lets go of her father's theft. She also lets go of Merce's ashes, which the strong Spanish wind blows right back into everybody's face, their hair, their makeup, into their cleavage, into their dress. Like, Merce is basically just all over the place, except for in the ocean. So, I mean, I guess that's what happens when you want to, like, put the ashes, like when you want to like release the ashes over a seaside cliff in Spain, it just gets blown everywhere except into the sea. I feel like the whole entire season they could have just wrapped into one episode, don't you? I don't feel like I'm missing anything else, and we also see like clips of the breakdown of Mauricio and Kyle's marriage. We see these very awkward interactions with the two of them where it's cringe. We see Erika's mom in a few scenes. I'm guessing because Erika doesn't have anybody to film with. So you see a couple of scenes with her and her mom, Renee. You see her talk a little bit about her Vegas residency. We actually don't see too much information about her Vegas residency, and I'm guessing that's because they want to save most of it for the mini spinoff. So, they don't want to show too much on the actual season. Kyle and her relationship with Sutton, and then Kyle and her relationship with Dorit, and then Kyle and her relationship with Mauricio, and then Kyle and her relationship with Morgan Wade. The whole entire freaking season basically centered around Kyle and all of her relationship. And of course, Kyle and what she is dealing with, her trauma of her best friend Lorraine's passing. Crystal, I don't even know what the hell's going on with Crystal. Something going on with her brother, who he's back in China, and the brother is like upset with her because of something going on with a fiance. And I guess like, he broke up with the fiance. This is what your housewife shows will look like without all of the heavily produced manufactured drama that you said was not enjoyable to see on your television screen. So this is the sort of season that you get. That's about it. That basically wraps it up. Season finales tomorrow. At the season reunion, Kathy Hilton is said to be making a cameo, and that Sutton fainted on set because she saw Kathy Hilton. We'll see, and we'll see you later.